King.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the welcome, the introduction, and the chance to be here at the NRA convention in St. Louis. I have had an opportunity to listen to a lot of the other speakers, and each one of them inspired me in their own way. And I would submit this is what comes to my mind, and that is we really haven't very well answered the question of why we have the Second Amendment today. We all know, but we haven't answered it very well. Our founding fathers laid it in there for the reasons that I'm going to get to. But first, I want to tell you that we don't have the Second Amendment, our right to keep and bear arms, in order to have guns for a target. We don't have the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in order to have guns for hunting. And we don't have the Second Amendment for self-defense among people that might threaten us. Those are all residual benefits that flow from the real reason why we have the Second Amendment, and that's to protect us from tyranny. And that benefit that protects us from tyranny, our founding fathers understood the threat because that threat lived among them. And they wanted to eradicate the threat and wanted a well-regulated militia, and they knew that we could not defend ourselves adequately if we didn't have a populace that was armed, that was proficient, that utilized our Second Amendment. And our Constitution would be defined away by now if we didn't exercise our rights. Think what would happen if somehow we gave lip service to freedom of speech by saying we have that right but didn't exercise it. Think what would happen if freedom of religion, we said we have it, but we didn't worship freely. What if we never freely assembled to petition the government for redress of grievances? Sooner or later, the leftists in the world, the liberals in the world, would redefine our constitutional rights away from us if we fail to exercise them. That's why it's so important that you're here today. It's important that you raise your children and we all raise our grandchildren and future generations, not just to understand the Constitution, not just to understand the Second Amendment that's there to protect us from tyranny, but we raise them to exercise our Second Amendment rights so they're connected, so that they live and breathe and feel that obligation. And I will tell you that I look back on our generations in my family, and I have the .410 shotgun that I learned to shoot with that my grandmother shot prairie chickens with. My father bought a brand new .870 Remington Wingmaster in 1951 and carried that out to the duck blind and me out to the duck blind when I was 2 years old, to make sure that I grew up with a deep tradition for the outdoors and a respect and a love for firearms. And that shotgun today is in my possession, new reblued, new refinished, and it has my father's name inscribed on the receiver, and it will be an heirloom for coming generations. That's how you defend the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. You do it every day. You do it in ways around the coffee shop. You go to the field. You go to the shooting range. You go up there and you pick up your guns and you clean them lovingly and you put them back in the rack again. Because it's part of American tradition. It's a part of defending against tyranny and other things that we get to do. For example, in my role in life, I get to support legislation that defends our Second Amendment rights. And today, I can tell you that in Congress, we have passed out of the House a national right to carry legislation, which is H.R. 822. That's the reciprocity legislation that would allow you to take a little card like, I'm sure it's in here somewhere, like this, your concealed weapon permit, and go from state to state. As long as you're in compliance with the laws within your state, it gives you reciprocity. That's something that should have been done a long time ago. It needs to pass the Senate. Our NRA is pushing it, and we will eventually get that done, I think, with the next president.